Welcome everybody to the Gold Split, brought to you by Lzuruha. I am your host, Daddy P, not 3D, here with Final Fantasy VII speedrunner extraordinaire, CarNage64. How are you doing tonight, good sir?
I'm doing good, Dan. How about you?
I am doing just great. This is my first attempt at the Gold Split. I hope we have a good time here. I think we will. I guess we'll just get right into it.
All right.
So, I guess just to start with your history and how you got into what you do now. I know a lot of people know you from the Counter-Strike community
hmm
as a competitive, first-person shooter player that kind of jumped into speedrunning. What got you into speedrunning?
Well, to be honest, after Counter-Strike kind of died, the version I played was 1.6, and it kind of went the way of the dodo. I just was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I was working with my folks, and I wasn't really gaming that much, but then I got into watching StarCraft 2 streams, and I stumbled upon a website called TeamLiquid.net. And they have a big stream list that shows people that play not Counter Strike, but like StarCraft and Dota. And then they had this really weird stream that said AGDQ 2013 and had over 100,000 viewers. And I thought to myself, I wonder what that could be. And so I clicked on the link, and sure enough, up popped up, HDQ 2013. I think it was during Stivity Bobo's Banjo Kazooie run, and I was instantly hooked. I thought this was pretty cool. I never thought this was a thing. I never knew about it. And so as I watched more and more, I watched people like Poexel and Spike Vegeta run Final Fantasy 9, and it was that moment I said to myself, you know what? I think that's what I want to do. I want to give that a try. And if you can speedrun Final Fantasy 9, I wonder if you can speedrun Final Fantasy 7, and really the rest is history after that.
Were you pretty deeply into 7 before you started speedrunning it?
How do you mean pretty deeply into it? Like, did I just play it a lot as a kid, or?
Yeah, like was it one of your top games? I mean, that's part of my next question is how did you decide that that was going to be your game?
Okay, well, to answer both questions, it's my favorite game of all time. I played it the most when I was a kid, casually. So yeah, I was really deeply into it. I did a lot of things. I pretty much did everything you can do in the game. I have most, if not all, the dialogue pretty much memorized and all the secret locations memorized. So it was pretty easy for me to pick that as my first speedrunning game. Even though it's a long run, it was just a game I knew the most and was my favorite.
Very good, very good. I think a lot of people would echo that story about AGDQ and seeing it and like, wow, these are games that I've played my whole life. I've really never seen them
Mhm.
played this way. And I think a lot of people, especially in our community, may have came in that same way. Just moving right along, everybody knows you as a speedrunner. What are some things that people don't know about you? What is some stuff you do outside of the gaming?
Well, I live with my folks because I take care of my dad who had a stroke a couple of years ago, and I'm also taking care of my mom because her health was is deteriorating a little bit. Like it's not severe, but because she was trying to help my dad, with a little too much without telling me, she hurt herself, like she hurt her legs and all that kind of stuff. So I'm here kind of helping my folks out right now while they're trying to get their bearings back, and all the people that contribute to my stream help keep us in our home, really. What I was also, do outside is I guess I kind of hang out with some friends if I can, if they're in the area. Most of them have moved on to college and stuff, though, so are moving on to their jobs and careers. So I don't get to do much outside of my stream besides taking care of my folks at the moment.
Well, I think that's a very noble thing to do, and I think a lot of people that would want to do gaming for a career you know, would really appreciate that you're doing that not only to help yourself, but you're carrying your family with that, and that is a very good thing. And I think we do all appreciate that. Everyone that does watch your stream, I think most people that are regulars there know the story, and it's a really good thing. That's a good
Yeah.
of you to do that.
Well, thank you.
And it brings up the thought or the question that it's it's a very impressive thing that you were able to turn something that most of us really only do as a hobby or something for fun that, we've all watched Twitch. We have the big dream. We've seen the end of the tunnel there, but you've reached that. You've reached that light. You're at the point where it has turned around into more than a hobby and maybe even being a full-time career for, as long as that's maintained. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, I'm kind of overwhelmed at times with it, especially on days that I'm unable to stream or I'm taking it off, like I did today and I did yesterday because I had to help out my mom's friend who has multiple sclerosis go out again to do some errands. I helped her prior in the week too, so I helped her twice in 1 week. And when I get messages of people like wondering where I'm at, if I'm okay, or why am I not streaming, it gets overwhelming sometimes because I don't think of it all the time that a lot of people like depend on my streams for entertainment during the day. So it's really interesting. But my thoughts on it is that it's wonderful. It's great. I've met a lot of fantastic people, made a lot of great friends. Met my best friend and like the best organization that I could think of, being a part of and growing with it while doing it. So I'm having a blast, and I hoped for it to keep going up from here. But I really owe my fans and all the people that watch everything that I have right now, and I will keep trying my best to do my streams on a regular basis and keep giving you guys good runs with my best effort.
And we love hearing that. We definitely love hearing that. Now, for the people that do watch your streams and are, let's say, in the beginning of their streaming careers, walk us through what. I mean, I know your ascendance was fairly rapid compared to what a lot of people were. Walk us through the first
Mm.
couple months of that. The first stream of oh my gosh, there's people actually watching me and there's people trying to talk to me.
Well, I started with doing just Midgar escape attempts, 'cause it's a pretty basic part of the FF7 speedrun, but it is 1/4 of the entire run. And I had viewers from day one that were watching me, and so it was pretty much just interactivity from the get-go. Um, I really think I owe the game and the timing for that, honestly, that FF7 is a fairly popular game for us as a kid, and it was right after AGDQ, so a lot of people were probably looking for speedruns to watch. And so I owe it to a lot of timing, and then people just stuck around by watching me for God knows what reason, but I've enjoyed it. And for people that want to get into streaming, want to start out, I would just say to persevere, stick to one thing for a while, so you can get a good viewer base up that want to watch that, and find something unique to do. If you're not speedrunning, find something unique rather than just be like the next casual lol runner or gamer or Counter Strike, etc. Find some kind of unique thing to do is what I would say. But I would definitely say stick with it and don't get discouraged, because the moment you get discouraged, you've already lost.
And that's very good advice, people. I've seen a lot of people, you really got to find your niche, and that's whether that's speedrunning a game, whether it's doing a special type run of a game, but he's right. I mean, doing things like there there's 77 League of Legends streamers on at any given time that all have, 10,000 plus viewers. It's very difficult to get noticed in that world. Not to say that you can't. I mean, you should, like you said, do what you're good at, do what you want to do.
Mhm.
Just, make sure you find what you're looking for. Moving on. Now, you're, like I said in the beginning, one of the top Final Fantasy VII runners in the world. You're a few minutes off of world record at this point, which I think is currently 741 by Cart 7.
It's a 742 around there,
742.
yeah.
Uh, I know that you're going to get there. I've watched hundreds of your runs. I know what's going to happen. It's just a matter of the right. And if you're a gaming person, you'll understand what I mean. The right RNG coming together, the run happening. What are you going to do after that?
Well, we'll cross that bridge when I get there. It'll probably be when that moment comes. It'll be probably the most overwhelming feeling I've had so far, because of just how difficult and how long the journey's been, and how some people have kept their faith in me and some people have not, and some people criticize me for whatever reason, or and then I have my group that just comes to watch me no matter what and wants me to finish a run even if I'm 10 minutes behind. So it's going to be a very overwhelming feeling to not only show my appreciation to all the people that have stuck by me and supported me, but also to just kind of show that I'm not meant to be criticized for my ability, because I do try very hard and I am pretty damn good at the game and I will get there. But after it, I will plan on moving to more Final Fantasy games like Final Fantasy 6, Final Fantasy 4, eventually 8, 9. I doubt I'll do 10 because it's just way too long for all the wrong reasons, in my opinion. But I will branch out and not just be the one trick pony. I will go for world record in FF6 and FF4, FF8 and FF9 eventually.
I know you mentioned the criticism and things like that, and you and I both know that especially in the gaming world where it really should just be about the games and having a lot of fun, there are a lot of what you could call naysayers and just really downright unhappy people that do feel the need to do that kind of stuff. What do you
Mm.
mean you do it like this? You're never going to get there. I mean, it's a thing. I can understand that. I appreciate you moving forward among all that stuff. I've seen some people really just get tore down and not really want to stream anymore just because they can't deal with it.
Yeah.
So moving on after seven, a lot of your viewers have seen you play four, have seen you play six. Your four time's already pretty decent for the amount of time that you put into it. It's pretty impressive that you picked that game up that quickly. Was it difficult to move from seven, which obviously has its very not different style of gameplay, but different compared to the other Final Fantasies, to a game that I would argue is a little bit simpler, a little bit
Mm.
there's step counters and things in seven that make it very difficult. Was it difficult to learn a whole new game that quickly?
Honestly, it was pretty easy because, as you said, FF7 is fairly complicated, especially with the step counter and just how much RNG is involved. FF4 was really only figuring out, with the help of course, the current world record holder, Fastlow23. Me and him did a lot of experiments together, using my stream and him off stream on his when he was doing some practice. We kind of put together some good ideas and came up with some really good strats. And once I figured out the basics of the game, like the battle speed and how the timings worked on some of the bosses, the route itself is really easy to memorize for me. I have it all memorized in my head. It's just and you mentioned my time is pretty decent, but I already know I can do much better. Like every run of that, I can get improved by about 20 minutes at the moment. It's just the last run I had, my capture card died on me in the middle of it, and I was ahead by 9 minutes. So it's just a matter of time to improve that run. Um, but yeah, it was definitely much simpler to pick up, and it didn't take very long to memorize it.
Well, I gotta say I was pretty excited when you started running. That's one of my favorite Final Fantasies. I'm on kind of the same train you are. Four, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. I mean, this that group of games is just an incredible history of how video gaming evolved, really.
Yeah. And I'm really happy to have rediscovered 4 because I actually never beat it as a kid. My first time beating it was my first speedrun completion, and so it was a lot of fun. And I've grown to love the story and love the characters in that game.
So I have to ask this, and I've never really asked you this before, but the grind at the end of that game, the mech dragons,
Uh huh.
it's I don't do a lot of RPG speedrunning, but doesn't that does it take the feeling of speedrunning out of it by how long is that segment?
Honestly, not because it's a solid 20 minutes, so it's like a calm cutscene, really. But imagine in an RPG world, your highest level of concentration for 20 minutes straight. It takes you have to think in your head really quickly on what your order is going to do it the fastest possible. It's the hardest part of the whole run, I would say. I don't know what Fathlow would say about that, but I want to say he would agree with me that for a solid 20 minutes of concentration, if we don't do it, like if we mess up one thing, we could lose like another minute or two, on that segment. So it takes the highest level of concentration. I can't look at chat at all during that segment. Honestly, it takes a lot of effort to do that.
I know it sounds strange, but it's an intense segment to watch because I mean
Hmm.
your guys are very low leveled at that point compared to what a normal run would be if you're not moseying through everything.
Hmm.
So I mean one wrong hit, like you said, and I mean you're done. I mean that's there's your 4 hours just kind of out the window at that point.
Yeah.
So moving on from that, calling attention to your shirt, Team LZH, Lzura,
Hmm.
how did that all come to be?
Okay, well, that's a longer story, but when I was still doing, I want to say I wasn't doing complete runs on the PS2 yet. I hadn't gotten it yet, but I think I was starting to do the PS3, and actually Disenchantment, or Natasha, if you guys know her, messaged me on Twitch when I had about maybe 30 or 40 people watching me at any given time, sending me a really long email, which, at first I was like, okay, I just got a spam message. And I'm like, let me read it anyway. And I discovered it wasn't a spam message. It was someone genuinely enjoying what I was doing and wanted to know if I was interested in joining an up and coming speedrunning team. And at the time, I thought SRL and SDA was like everything, and so I wasn't sure. But I sat down and had a talk with her, and that night I was like signed up and ready to go because I love the idea of what we do. I love the family environment we bring to it, where we try and help everyone that joins get viewers, get noticed, and get the whether it's an overlay they need or any kind of artwork for their stream, whatever they need to get their to make their stream better, we try and provide for them. And so I just I enjoyed becoming part of something that was growing rather than something that was already there and established and maybe falling through the cracks in there, but trying to be part of something and help other people too with it. So I owe her for that entirely.
Well, I think it goes without saying that anyone that's really been involved with LZH on any level can agree with you there. Disenchantment or Natasha, as you said, is a very integral part of the community. Somebody that'll he'll do anything for you, even if she barely knows you. And I
Yeah.
mean that's something that's very rare in this world to find somebody, especially in the gaming community, like you said, talking about SDA and SRL. This doesn't go for everybody on there because I don't know everybody that's on there, but there's generally not a lot of help available there, whether
Mm,
it's help learning a game or certain things or that type of thing. So I mean, I agree with everything you said there that the family orientedness of that and all the help that's available it makes it the best community in the world by far.
yeah.
So you have 40, 50 viewers. You're
Hmm.
a big part of Team Lazura. When did this start? When did you get to the point where you said, this is a thing. I mean, this is something that could actually turn into a big thing here.
Well, the first moment that I thought it could be was when I had viewers actually begging me to open up a PayPal account so they could donate. I was just kind of blown away like, wait, so I thought everything was to get subscriber status and, do ad revenue and have people subscribe to my channel. Like that's how I was telling my mom's like eventually if I get big enough, I'll get people who will sign up for 250 and I'll get 250 a month for each person. And she's like, "Okay." So if you get like 500 people to sign up, we're like set, right? I'm like, yeah. And then when people were actually literally telling me, dude, you need a PayPal so I can donate to you. I was like, wow, okay. So I did that, and when people started donating and supporting me and helping me get to the point where I am now, that's when I figured it was going to be a thing. It was just the generosity of people.
It is an amazing thing all the stories you hear of that. So I always wanted to ask you this. I've been in a few mildly large stream chats on the day where that person, him or her, got subscriber.
Mm.
Um, the day that you got it, I'm assuming you streamed that day.
Mm.
It did it just explode? Was it crazy? There's like, oh my gosh, it's there, and everybody's.
Yeah, everyone it was before it was when Twitch had like tougher guidelines for it too, so it was really awesome when I hit it. I think they required about 400 500 concurrent viewers for a long time and over 6 or 7,000 followers, maybe 8. I don't exactly remember my follower count when I hit it, but it was a big deal. It was really awesome when it happened, and you know, honestly, I just remember the very first subscriber was is a guy named Finger Licking Good. I don't know if he still subscribes, but he was like first sub, and then like everybody started subbing after that. And whenever he would come to the channel, everyone's like first sub spotted. So it was like it was still a thing, and it was kind of crazy that day, yeah. And it was just a lot of thank yous, and I think a little bit of tearfulness as well.
Well, it's a big thing, and when you've been gaming your whole life, and there's literally people lining up that want to pay you to do what you're doing on a video game. I mean, it's kind of a. I mean, I don't know if your childhood was the same as mine, but mine was always, why are you always on that thing? If you paid as much attention to your homework, you'd blah 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 blah. You'd be a lawyer by now.
Yeah, my mom did that to me for a while until she like saw this and went, "I'm really glad you spent all that time playing video games as a kid." I'm like, "I know. Isn't that right?" But it's definitely better than when I played Counter-Strike. Back then there wasn't a lot of you know, money to be made in that. It was a growing scene at the time, and nowadays it's much better, especially with the advent of Twitch and other stream broadcasting companies. But back when trying to sell my folks that I was okay still playing Counter Strike when I didn't make a dime off of it, that was pretty tough. But now it's an easier sell when you're able to help keep your family in the home with what you're doing.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's. I can equate it to when I got married. Everything's you're getting that little okay look until once you hand over a check and say this is a real thing, it works, I promise. Then it's,
Yeah.
oh, well, I guess, yeah, that does seem like a thing. So we're getting
All right.
probably time we close out. I'm sure you got plenty of shout outs. I will just let you do your thing. Go ahead.
I guess I'll start with shout outs to you for taking this over and being a good friend in my life. So I appreciate you, Dan. I thank you for taking the time to interview me. Big shout out to the team that I'm a part of, the LZH team. You can find us at mylzh.net. We have a great stream page. We're always looking for up and coming streamers that want to join not only our speedrunning side but our esports side. Big shout outs to the head boss Jarrett, Kari, and especially my best friend Tasha for always being there for me. Um, and big shout out to all of my fans and all the guys that come watch me on a regular basis. Thank you guys for making it possible. My subscribers, my donators, and just my viewers and lurkers. You guys all make my stream possible. So thank you to each and every one of you, and I will look forward to seeing you again.
Sounds good. Well, you heard it here first, folks. The whole story behind Carnage. Hopefully, if there's any other questions you have for him, pop in his stream, twitch.tv/Carnage64. He runs almost on a daily basis. He does take a few days off here and there, but that's okay. That's not a problem there. I want to say most of the same thank yous. Thanks LZH for letting me host this show. I really do appreciate it. It's awesome. I love this. It's probably one of the better things I've dealt with.
I think you did a good job, Dan.
Awesome. So there's one at least. We'll see. We'll see how the rest of it goes.
You've got me sold, my friend.